Okay, it's Friday, August 29th, 2008, and this is the second entry in my twin adoption blog. Okay, we are 13 days out from D-Day, delivery day, and today the birth mother has a non-stress test. And this is a special extra test that they do when the twins share an amniotic sac. And by the way, that condition is called monoamniotic twins. And there's a special website that has lots of information about this and support network as well, articles on it and things like that. I'll put a link to that website in the description of the video. She's got a stress test, non-stress test today. I haven't heard from her yet. I don't know that she's had the appointment quite yet because they're 3 hours behind our time zone. But what they'll be checking for today is they'll be doing a biophysical and a special ultrasound. They'll be checking the umbilical cords and making sure that they are not being further entangled or that nutrients aren't being cut off to either or one of the other twins. There's a bit of a weight difference between the twins now, and I think that's a concern for them. So, for example, last time they did an ultrasound, they guesstimate the weight based on the ultrasound. One of the twins was about 3 pounds, 8 ounces maybe, and the other one was about 2 pounds, 6 ounces. And there's normally some weight difference, but that was enough to give them some concern. The other thing we'll be doing in the non-stress test is they're going to be checking the heart rate. When an infant is stressed or not getting enough nutrients, the heart rate will be irregular or will slow down. They're also going to be checking to see if they're doing their breathing exercises. Of course, babies don't breathe in the womb, but kind of getting ready for birth, they'll start doing some mock breathing exercises. So they want to make sure they're doing those. And a couple of other things is what they're doing today. Now, there's something of a difference of opinion about what's the best thing to do when you have monoamniotic twins in the womb. But everybody seems to agree that the survival rate of both of the twins depends on the frequency with which you monitor them. You check their heart rate, do ultrasounds and things like that, because if one of them gets stressed, but they're not getting enough oxygen or nutrients, it's not like that they die right away. Apparently it takes, they're in distress for a while. So the scientific articles that we've read on this and all that is kind of a range. Sometimes doctors say, well, let's do tests once a week. Others say the mother should be in the hospital hooked up to a fetal monitor and be checked several times a day. It's hard to know what the best thing to do is here, but it seems to be the case that the more you do the monitoring, the higher the survivability rate is. So one of the things that's difficult for us as the intended adopted parents is until the birth mother signs the relinquishment forms and they're released to us and in our care, we don't really have any legal rights in the situation to determine what the medical care is. It all rests with the birth mother, and we feel very good about her decision making in this process. But she's doing what the doctors are recommending, and that's great. But the doctors, been a practitioner for many, many, many years, 30-something years, is recommending weekly non-stress test, and that seems to be kind of at the lower end of what people say is sufficient in these cases. But I mean, I would love to see them being monitored more, but it's just not something that we have a say in. We've attempted to talk to the doctor, but through the birth family, the doctor's kind of expressed an interest in not talking to us. And our adoption agency, who has paperwork signed that authorizes them to get medical information about the birth mother and what's going on, and called the doctor's office, and the doctor didn't even want to talk to them. A nurse got on the phone and she gave them some basic information, but really wasn't very polite in that conversation. So we're not pushing very hard either. We're, when you get medical information secondhand, sometimes it produces more anxiety than reassurance, and sometimes just being able to talk directly to the doctor would be very comforting and reassuring to us. And there are things that are happening now, medical decisions that are being made now that could affect the future health of the babies that we'll be caring for, and it'll be our responsibility to take care of them from that point on. So it's a little frustrating not to have a say in that process. But you just kind of have to hang in there and hope for the best, which is what we're doing. Kind of the other thing that we've been doing now is interviewing pediatricians so that we can have a pediatrician that we're comfortable with. That's been kind of an interesting process. We've gotten referrals from friends, and I've been really surprised. Most of the friends that we've asked that have had pediatricians for years don't feel comfortable recommending their pediatrician. They say to me, he's okay or she's okay, but if I could really find somebody that I like better, I would switch. So it seems like that there's something not really working in parent-pediatrician relationships. So there's an opportunity out there for some pediatricians that really work on their relationship with the parents. The one pediatrician that we've interviewed so far really likes their practice, very close to the house. They have separate waiting rooms for healthy kids and sick kids, and that's great. Met with a pediatrician. We asked to speak to one of the female pediatricians there, thinking it would be nice for the girls to have a female doctor as they got older. She's very confident, very on top of it medically, but there are different kinds of doctors, and they have different kinds of relationships with the patients and the parents, and there are doctors who come in and say, I'm the expert, I know what's going on here, I know the diagnosis, I know what you should do and what you shouldn't do, and I'm going to tell you what you should and shouldn't do, and if you want to do anything else, you're not being a responsible parent. And I don't like that kind of relationship with my own doctor or pediatrician or really any professional. I want to come in and have them say, well, I would recommend that we do these tests, or we've done these tests, and these are the results, and there's a couple of options here of things that we can do. And then they list them out and tell you the pros and cons, and don't make you feel like that if you don't do exactly the one right thing that you're a horrible parent or anything. But we're still looking for that pediatrician that will kind of have that relationship with us. So we've got another interview set up, but it takes a while for them to work you into your schedule. That's not set up until September 24th. I'll be out in California taking care of the kids in NICU, neonatal ICU, but Matt, my partner, will be back here in South Carolina, and he'll go to that. So got to make some more calls, see if I can find a good pediatrician. So that's what's going on there. I think that's the main news for the day. Coming up, talked to the birth mother last night. Everything's going great. She's doing really well. We're actually getting ready to move to a new apartment. If you can imagine, days before delivery, they're having to do that. But I should have news on how the non-stress test went with my next post, which hopefully I will do in the next day or two. But until then, thanks for tuning in. Definitely, if you have any questions for me, just leave them in the comments below. If you want to get notifications when I put up a new video, definitely subscribe. If you want to make any video responses, please feel free to do that. All right, thanks, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.